You have been lied to. Not by any one person. Not by any single institution. But by a slow, silent conspiracy of mediocrity that surrounds you every single day. You have been told that your circumstances control your life. That your past determines your future. That success is a matter of luck, timing, or being born into the right family. And you believed it. Most people do. But here is the truth that will set you free: your life is not happening to you. Your life is happening through you. Everything you see around you, your bank account, your relationships, your health, your position in society, is nothing more than a printout of your dominant thoughts. You are living in the physical manifestation of your mental habits. And until you accept this, you will remain a prisoner of circumstances you think you did not create. Right now, in this very moment, your mind is either your greatest asset or your most dangerous enemy. There is no middle ground. Your thoughts are either building the life you desire or destroying the life you deserve. Which is it? Most people sleepwalk through existence. They react instead of create. They respond to life instead of commanding it. They wait for permission, for the right moment, for someone to save them. And they die waiting. But not you. Not anymore. Because you are here. And that means something inside you has awakened. That means some part of you, perhaps buried deep beneath years of doubt and disappointment, knows that you were meant for more. That you were designed for greatness. That you carry within you the seed of extraordinary achievement. This is not motivation. This is truth. You are about to spend the next hour rewiring your mind. Not with wishful thinking. Not with empty affirmations. But with principles that have governed success since the beginning of human achievement. Laws as reliable as gravity. As certain as mathematics. But understand this: knowing these principles means nothing. Application is everything. You can listen to every word in this message and remain exactly where you are. Or you can decide, right here, right now, that today marks the line of demarcation between the old you and the new you. The choice has always been yours. It remains yours now. Your current reality is temporary. Your circumstances are changeable. But only if you are willing to change the patterns that created them. Only if you are willing to become ruthless with your own thoughts. Only if you are willing to take full, complete, and total responsibility for everything that has happened and everything that will happen. This is your moment. Before we continue, do something for yourself: subscribe to this channel. And leave a comment telling me where you are watching from. Let this simple action be your first commitment to the new life you are building. Do it now. Now let us begin the real work. Listen carefully. There is a law operating in your life right now. It has been operating since the day you were born. It will continue operating until the day you die. And it does not care about your excuses. This law is simple: you become what you think about most of the time. Not what you wish for. Not what you hope for. Not what you say you want when someone asks you at a party. But what you actually, consistently, repeatedly focus your mental energy upon. Your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. And you have been planting seeds every single day of your life, some consciously, most unconsciously. Right now, you are harvesting crops from seeds you planted months ago. Years ago. And if you do not like the harvest, you must change the seeds. This is not philosophy. This is law. Show me a person who constantly thinks about debt, and I will show you a person who attracts more debt. Show me a person who obsesses over what might go wrong, and I will show you a person whose life is filled with problems. Show me a person who dwells on past failures, and I will show you a person who repeats those failures endlessly. The opposite is equally true. Show me a person who disciplines their mind to focus on solutions, and I will show you a person who finds opportunities everywhere. Show me a person who mentally rehearses success, and I will show you a person who moves toward achievement with magnetic inevitability. Show me a person who thinks with clarity about their definite purpose, and I will show you a person who bends reality itself to their will. Your mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. This is not metaphor. This is neuroscience. This is psychology. This is spiritual law. When you repeatedly think a thought, you create a neural pathway. When you create a neural pathway, you establish a pattern. When you establish a pattern, you form a habit. When you form a habit, you shape a character. And your character determines your destiny. Everything, and I mean everything, begins in thought. Before there was a car, there was a thought of a car. Before there was a skyscraper, there was a thought of a skyscraper. Before there was every fortune ever made, every relationship ever built, every achievement ever accomplished, there was first a thought. And before there was your current life, with all its limitations and frustrations, there was a pattern of thought that created it. Do you see this? Do you understand what this means? It means you are not a victim. You are a creator. You are not an effect. You are a cause. You are not powerless. You possess the most powerful force in the universe, the ability to direct your own thinking. But here is where most people fail. They treat their minds like a public park where any stranger can wander in and set up camp. They allow external circumstances to dictate internal states. They let the news tell them how to feel. They let their relatives tell them what is possible. They let their bank balance tell them who they are. This is insanity. Your mind is your domain. It is your kingdom. And you must guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every morning, you wake up and the battle begins. The battle for control of your attention. The battle for dominion over your thoughts. The battle between the person you have been and the person you are becoming. And make no mistake, this is a battle. Your old patterns will fight to survive. Your environment will pressure you to conform. Your past will try to predict your future. But you are more powerful than all of it combined. Because you have the ability to choose your thoughts. And in that ability lies all the power you will ever need. Now, let me make something absolutely clear. I am not telling you to ignore reality. I am not suggesting you pretend problems do not exist. I am not advocating delusion. I am telling you something far more profound. You must learn to see reality not as it appears, but as it can become through the power of directed thought backed by persistent action. This is the difference between dreamers and achievers. Dreamers wish. Achievers decide. Dreamers hope things will change. Achievers become the change. You have been conditioned to believe that external change creates internal change. This is backwards. Internal change, the transformation of thought, creates external change. Always. Without exception. Consider the person who says, "I will be happy when I make more money." They have placed their emotional state in bondage to external circumstances. And so they remain unhappy while chasing money, which means they vibrate at a frequency of lack, which means they repel the very thing they seek. Now consider the person who says, "I choose happiness now, and from this state, I will create wealth." They have claimed their power. They have recognized that emotional state is a choice, not a result. And from this position of internal strength, they attract opportunities, make better decisions, and inevitably create the external wealth they desire. Do you see the difference? It is everything. Your external world is a mirror of your internal world. Not sometimes. Always. What you see out there is nothing more than a reflection of what you carry in here. If your relationships are chaotic, examine your thoughts about relationships. If your finances are troubled, examine your beliefs about money. If your health is declining, examine your mental habits about your body. The problem is never out there. The problem is always the pattern of thought that created what you see out there. And this is the most empowering truth you will ever encounter. If you created it with your thoughts, you can change it with your thoughts. But, and this is critical, you must accept complete responsibility. Not 99% responsibility. Not, it's mostly my fault. But 100%, absolute, total, complete responsibility for every single condition in your life. This is where most people reject the truth. Because accepting responsibility means abandoning the comfortable position of victimhood. It means giving up the right to blame others. It means acknowledging that you have been the architect of your own limitations. And that is painful. But it is also liberating. Because if you created it, you can change it. If you built these walls, you can tear them down. If you constructed this prison, you hold the key. No one is coming to save you. No government program. No inheritance. No lucky break. The cavalry is not coming because you are the cavalry. This is not tragedy. This is triumph. Because it means your destiny is in your hands, not in the hands of fate or chance or anyone else. From this moment forward, you must become a ruthless guardian of your mental garden. You must inspect every thought that seeks entry. You must question every belief you have accepted. You must examine every word you speak about yourself and your life. Because here is another law: your words create your world. Not just your thoughts, but the things you say out loud. Every time you speak, you are issuing a command to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is obedient. It will work tirelessly to make your words come true. When you say, "I can't afford that," you are instructing your mind to keep you poor. When you say, "I'm not good at this," you are programming yourself for failure. When you say, "This always happens to me," you are guaranteeing it will happen again. Your words are not mere sounds. They are creative forces. They are self-fulfilling prophecies. They are the language through which your inner reality becomes your outer experience. So what have you been saying about yourself? What have you been declaring about your future? What story have you been telling about who you are and what you can accomplish? If that story has not served you, it is time to write a new one. And writing a new story begins with a definite chief aim. A clear, specific, written statement of exactly what you intend to accomplish. Not a vague wish. Not a general hope. But a precise target. The person without a definite purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every wave, carried along by every current, arriving nowhere with absolute certainty. But the person with a definite chief aim harnesses every mental faculty in service of that aim. Their subconscious mind begins working on it while they sleep. Opportunities related to it begin appearing. Resources align. People show up. Coincidences multiply. Why? Because when you declare a definite purpose and charge it with emotion and faith, you activate the reticular activating system in your brain. You tune your consciousness to perceive opportunities that were always there but previously invisible. You become a magnet for everything required to achieve your aim. This is not magic. This is how the mind works. But your definite chief aim must be written. It must be specific. It must be reviewed daily. It must be charged with emotion. And it must be backed by a burning desire so intense that failure is not an option you can even consider. Most people have wishes, not aims. They want things, but they do not commit to them. They hope, but they do not decide. And so they drift through life, wondering why others seem to have all the luck. There is no luck. There is only law. And the law says, whatever you impress upon your subconscious mind through repeated thought, emotion, and action will eventually manifest in your external reality. This is the principle that governs all achievement. This is the big idea. This is the truth that changes everything. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the creator of circumstances. You are not a leaf blown by the wind. You are the wind itself. But you must believe this. Not superficially. Not intellectually. But at a cellular level. You must know it in your bones. You must feel it in your blood. You must claim it as your birthright. Because belief is the starting point of all achievement. Before you can do something, you must believe you can do it. Before you can have something, you must believe you are worthy of having it. Before you can become someone, you must believe that person already exists within you, waiting to emerge. And belief is cultivated through mental discipline. Through the daily practice of directing your thoughts. Through the consistent effort of rejecting negative patterns and installing empowering ones. This is not easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But it is simple. And it is the only way. Your mind right now is running programs installed years ago. Programs installed by your parents, your teachers, your culture, your experiences. And most of these programs are working against you. You must rewrite the code. You must replace the old programming with new programming. You must become the programmer, not the program. And you do this thought by thought, day by day, decision by decision. There are no shortcuts. There is no pill. There is only the work. But here is what makes the work worth it. Every single thing you want in life is on the other side of the mental patterns you need to change. The relationship you want exists on the other side of how you think about yourself and others. The wealth you want exists on the other side of your beliefs about money and value. The health you want exists on the other side of your habits and self-image. Everything is available. Everything is possible. But nothing changes until you change. And you change by changing what you think about, talk about, and act upon every single day. This is the big idea. This is the central principle. This is the law you must align yourself with if you want to live a life of power, purpose, and achievement. Your mind is the master control panel of your life. Learn to operate it with intention, and you will create miracles. Continue to let it run on autopilot, and you will continue to get the same results you have always gotten. The choice has always been yours. It remains yours now. Now we must look at what has been stopping you. Not external obstacles. Not other people. Not the economy or your age or your education. But the internal blocks. The mental mistakes. The patterns of thought and behavior that have been sabotaging you without your conscious awareness. This will be uncomfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. If you want truth, you must be willing to look at yourself honestly, without excuse, without justification. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend thinking about what you do not want? Be honest. How much of your mental energy goes toward worrying about problems? Rehearsing past failures? Imagining worst-case scenarios? Complaining about what is wrong with your life, your country, your circumstances? For most people, the answer is shocking. Studies show that the average person has between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day, and approximately 80% of those thoughts are negative. Worse, 95% of today's thoughts are the same as yesterday's thoughts. Think about what this means. You are running the same mental program, day after day, year after year, and wondering why your life does not change. This is the first mistake, mental repetition without conscious direction. You are thinking the same thoughts that created your current reality, and expecting a different future. This is the definition of insanity. Your mind will always gravitate toward the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. This is why people stay in toxic relationships. This is why people remain in jobs they hate. This is why people repeat self-destructive patterns. The familiar feels safe, even when it is destroying you. But safety is an illusion. There is no safety in stagnation. There is only slow death. And your mind, left to its own devices, will choose the comfort of familiar misery over the uncertainty of unfamiliar greatness every single time. So the first block is unconscious thinking. The second block is equally destructive, lack of definiteness of purpose. You cannot hit a target you do not have. You cannot arrive at a destination you have not chosen. Yet most people wander through life without any clear idea of what they actually want to achieve. Ask the average person, what is your definite purpose in life, and they will give you a vague answer. I want to be happy. I want to be successful. I want to be comfortable. These are not purposes. These are wishes. They have no form. They have no deadline. They have no plan. And because they have no specificity, they have no power. Your subconscious mind cannot work with vagueness. It requires precision. It requires clear instructions. Without them, it simply reinforces whatever patterns are already dominant. And what patterns are dominant for most people? Fear, doubt, worry, limitation. This brings us to the third mistake, operating from fear instead of faith. Look at your decisions. Look at your actions. Are they motivated by what you want to move toward, or what you want to move away from? Most people are running from something. Running from poverty. Running from embarrassment. Running from failure. And this creates a life of desperation, anxiety, and exhaustion. The person who runs from poverty thinks constantly about lack, which creates more lack. The person who runs from failure is so afraid of making mistakes that they never take meaningful risks, which guarantees mediocrity. Fear is a terrible motivator because it focuses your mind on the very thing you do not want. And whatever you focus on expands. You must learn to operate from faith instead. Faith in yourself. Faith in your vision. Faith in the principles that govern success. Faith is not blind optimism. Faith is the confident expectation of good, backed by the knowledge that you are aligning yourself with natural law. But here is where most people stumble. They want faith without doing the work that creates faith. Faith is built through action. When you set a small goal and achieve it, you build faith. When you make a promise to yourself and keep it, you build faith. When you take action despite fear and survive, you build faith. You cannot think your way into faith. You must act your way into it. Yet most people wait. They wait for certainty before they act. They wait for permission. They wait for the perfect moment. And while they wait, life passes them by. This is the fourth mistake, waiting for external permission to become who you are meant to be. You are waiting for someone to tell you that you are good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. But that permission will never come. Because the only person who can give you permission is you. And until you claim that authority over your own life, you will remain a child in an adult's body, looking for a parent figure to validate your existence. This is tragic. Because you are already enough. You were born enough. You carry within you everything you need to achieve extraordinary things. But you have been conditioned to doubt this. Conditioned to seek external validation. Conditioned to believe that your worth must be proven rather than simply claimed. Let me tell you something that will change your life if you truly hear it. Your worth is inherent, but your success must be earned. You do not need to prove you are worthy of breathing. You do not need to earn the right to exist. But if you want success, real, tangible, extraordinary success, you must work for it. You must discipline yourself for it. You must sacrifice for it. And most people are not willing to pay that price. This is the fifth mistake, wanting the reward without paying the price. Everyone wants wealth. Few are willing to develop the skills, habits, and mindset that create wealth. Everyone wants great relationships. Few are willing to become the kind of person who attracts and maintains great relationships. Everyone wants health. Few are willing to eat right, exercise consistently, and manage stress effectively. We live in a culture of instant gratification. Everyone wants the microwave solution. The magic pill. The shortcut. But there are no shortcuts. There is only the path. And the path requires discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And most people lack it. They are governed by their feelings. They are slaves to their moods. When they feel motivated, they act. When they do not feel motivated, they wait for motivation to return. This is backwards. Motivation follows action. You do not wait to feel like doing something. You do the thing, and the feeling follows. This is how discipline works. This is how you build momentum. This is how you create the life you want. But if you continue to wait for the right feeling, the right circumstances, the right moment, you will wait forever. This brings us to the sixth mistake, seeking comfort instead of growth. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, not to make you great. It is designed to conserve energy and avoid danger. And anything unfamiliar registers as dangerous. So every time you try to change, every time you step outside your comfort zone, every time you attempt something new, your brain sends alarm signals. It tells you to stop. To turn back. To return to the familiar. And most people obey these signals. They interpret discomfort as evidence that they are on the wrong path. They mistake fear for intuition. But the truth is this: growth and comfort cannot coexist. If you are comfortable, you are not growing. If you are growing, you are not comfortable. The discomfort you feel when you push yourself is not a stop sign. It is a sign that you are expanding. That you are breaking through old limitations. That you are becoming more than you were. But instead of embracing this discomfort, most people avoid it. They choose the couch over the gym. They choose distraction over discipline. They choose the familiar story over the unknown possibility. And year after year, they remain the same. They age, but they do not grow. They accumulate years, but not wisdom. They survive, but they do not truly live. Is this you? Have you been choosing comfort over growth? Have you been avoiding the very actions that would set you free? If so, understand this: every day you delay, the price gets higher. Not just in terms of time lost, but in terms of identity. The longer you repeat a pattern, the more deeply it becomes embedded in your neurology. The longer you identify with your limitations, the harder it becomes to see yourself as capable of more. Your self-image is the most powerful force in your personality. You will always act in accordance with who you believe yourself to be. If you believe you are a person who struggles with money, you will sabotage financial opportunities. If you believe you are unlucky in love, you will unconsciously create relationship failures. If you believe you are not disciplined, you will continue to act in undisciplined ways. This is the seventh mistake: maintaining a self-image that contradicts your stated goals. You say you want success, but you see yourself as someone who fails. You say you want wealth, but you identify as someone who struggles. You say you want confidence, but you define yourself through your insecurities. And so you remain trapped in a war between aspiration and identity always wins. You must change how you see yourself before you can change your results. You must begin to identify with the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. And this requires you to let go of your story. Your story is the narrative you tell yourself about why things are the way they are. Why you are the way you are. Why you cannot do certain things or have certain experiences. I'm not good with money because my parents were poor. I struggle in relationships because I was hurt before. I can't succeed because I don't have the right education. These stories feel true because you have repeated them so many times. But they are not truth. They are interpretations. They are choices. They are excuses dressed up as explanations. And as long as you cling to your story, you cannot write a new one. This is the eighth mistake: using your past to justify your present instead of using your present to create your future. Your past does not equal your future unless you live there mentally. Yes, things happened. Yes, you faced challenges. Yes, you made mistakes. But none of that determines what you do next. What determines what you do next is what you decide right now. And most people never truly decide. They wish. They hope. They try. But they do not commit. They do not burn the ships. They do not remove the escape routes. They say, I'll try to start a business. I'll try to lose weight. I'll try to change my habits. And the word try is a permission slip for failure. When you try, you leave yourself a way out. You hedge your bets. You keep one foot in the old life while reaching for the new one. And you cannot cross a chasm in 2 jumps. You must decide. You must commit. You must declare to yourself and the universe that you are done with the old way and you are going all in on the new way. This level of commitment terrifies most people because it means accepting that if you fail, you have no one to blame but yourself. It means giving up the comfort of, I didn't really try, so it doesn't count. But it is the only way. Indecision is a decision. Inaction is an action. And both lead to the same place, regret. Every day you wake up and choose again. You choose your thoughts. You choose your attitude. You choose your actions. And the cumulative effect of those choices is your life. If you do not like your life, you must change your choices. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when conditions are perfect. Now. Because now is the only time you have. The past is gone. The future is not guaranteed. All you have is this present moment, and what you do with it will determine everything. Now we come to the transformation. You have seen what has been holding you back. You have confronted the patterns that have kept you trapped. Now you must understand what it takes to break free and build a new reality. This is not a minor adjustment. This is a complete overhaul of how you see yourself, how you think, and how you operate in the world. It begins with this foundational truth: you are 100% responsible for your life. Not your parents. Not your circumstances. Not the government or the economy or bad luck. You. Every result you have is a result of decisions you made or failed to make. Every condition in your life is a consequence of thoughts you thought or refused to think. Every pattern you experience is something you either created consciously or allowed unconsciously. This is not punishment. This is power. Because if you are responsible, you are also capable. If you created your current reality, you can create a different one. But you must first accept the responsibility fully, without reservation, without excuse. Most people accept responsibility when things go well and assign blame when things go poorly. This is weak. This is the mark of a person who will never achieve greatness. The strong person says, I am the cause of my results. If I don't like my results, I will change my actions. If I want different outcomes, I will install different patterns. This is the mindset of a creator. This is the mentality of someone who shapes reality instead of being shaped by it. And it requires you to take complete ownership of your internal state. Your emotions are not happening to you. You are generating them through the thoughts you think and the meanings you assign to events. Two people experience the same event and have completely different emotional responses. Why? Because the event itself is neutral. The emotion comes from interpretation. When you understand this, you reclaim power over your emotional life. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the conscious creator of your internal experience. This does not mean suppressing emotions. It means recognizing that you have a choice in how you respond to everything that happens. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You can choose rage, or you can choose to let it go. Someone criticizes you. You can choose to crumble, or you can choose to evaluate whether the criticism is valid and act accordingly. Every moment presents a choice. And every choice is either moving you toward the person you want to become or away from that person. The person you want to become must be defined clearly. Not as a vague feeling, but as a specific identity with specific characteristics. Who is this person? How do they think? How do they speak? How do they spend their time? What standards do they hold themselves to? What do they refuse to tolerate? Write it down. Define it. Make it real in your mind. And then ask yourself every single day, am I being this person today? Not tomorrow. Not next year. Today. Because you do not become this person in the future. You become this person by acting like this person now, repeatedly, consistently, until the identity becomes natural. This is how transformation happens. Not through sudden epiphanies, but through daily decisions that compound over time. And the most important daily decision is what you choose to focus on. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Where you place your attention determines what grows in your life. If you focus on problems, problems multiply. If you focus on solutions, solutions appear. If you focus on scarcity, you will feel lack. If you focus on opportunity, you will find abundance. This is not positive thinking. This is selective perception based on directed attention. Your brain receives millions of bits of sensory information every second. It can only process a tiny fraction of that information consciously. So it filters. It shows you what it thinks is important based on what you have been focusing on. When you buy a new car, suddenly you see that car everywhere. The car was always there. You just didn't notice it because your brain wasn't filtering for it. The same is true for opportunities. The same is true for solutions. The same is true for everything you want in life. It is already there. But you are not seeing it because your attention has been trained on the wrong things. You must retrain your attention. This requires discipline. It requires vigilance. It requires you to catch yourself when your mind drifts toward negativity, distraction, or doubt, and gently redirect it toward your purpose. This is not easy at first. Your mind will resist. It will want to return to its habitual patterns. But every time you redirect it, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. Over time, the new pattern becomes automatic. And when your new pattern becomes automatic, your life changes automatically. But you must also understand that focus alone is not enough. Focus must be backed by faith. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You must believe in what you cannot yet see. You must know, with absolute certainty, that if you persist in the right thoughts and the right actions, the desired outcome will manifest. This is not delusion. This is the proper use of imagination combined with an understanding of natural law. Everything that exists in the physical world was first a thought in someone's mind. The chair you sit on. The device you are watching this on. The buildings around you. All of it began as invisible thought before becoming visible reality. Your dreams are the same. They are invisible now, but they are no less real. They exist as potential. And through your focused thought and persistent action, you will make them real. But you must protect your faith. Because doubt is the enemy of manifestation. Doubt does not mean you question strategy or evaluate methods. Doubt means you question whether the thing is possible at all. Doubt means you waver in your commitment. Doubt means you entertain the thought that maybe you are not capable. And the moment you doubt, you sabotage the process. This is why you must control your environment. You must guard what you allow into your mind. You must be selective about who you spend time with, what you read, what you watch, what you listen to. Negative people will infect you with their negativity. Complainers will drag you into their victimhood. Critics will diminish your vision. You must distance yourself from these influences. Not with hatred. Not with judgment. But with firm boundaries and clear priorities. Your dream is too important to let someone else's doubt destroy it. Surround yourself instead with people who are doing what you want to do. Read books by people who have achieved what you want to achieve. Study success. Immerse yourself in stories of triumph. This is not about comparison. This is about calibration. You are recalibrating your sense of what is possible by exposing yourself to evidence that it has been done before. And if it has been done before, it can be done again. If someone else figured it out, you can figure it out. This is where mentorship becomes critical. Not necessarily a personal mentor, though that is ideal. But access to the thinking of those who have walked the path before you. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You do not need to figure everything out from scratch. Success leaves clues. Follow the clues. Model what works. Study the principles. Apply them relentlessly. But understand this, knowledge without application is useless. You can know every success principle ever written and still fail if you do not act. Action is the bridge between the world of thought and the world of results. Nothing happens until you move. And most people never move because they are waiting for certainty. They want to know it will work before they try. But life does not offer that guarantee. You must be willing to act without certainty. You must be willing to take risks. You must be willing to fail, learn, adjust, and try again. This is the mark of courage. Not the absence of fear, but action in the presence of fear. Every successful person you admire has felt fear. The difference is they acted anyway. They decided that the potential reward was worth the risk. That the vision was worth the discomfort. That the person they wanted to become was worth the price. And you must make the same decision. You must decide that your vision matters more than your comfort. That your future matters more than your past. That your potential matters more than your current limitations. This decision is not made once. It is made daily. Sometimes hourly. Because your old patterns will try to reassert themselves. Your environment will test you. Your own mind will question you. But you must persist. You must stay the course. You must hold the vision even when circumstances seem to contradict it. This is where most people quit. Right before the breakthrough. Right before the tipping point. They give up because they do not see immediate results, not understanding that success is built incrementally, often invisibly, until suddenly it is undeniable. Think of a bamboo tree. For 5 years, you water it and see nothing. No growth above ground. But beneath the surface, it is developing a massive root system. Then, in the 6th year, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. Was it a miracle? No. It was the result of 5 years of invisible preparation. Your success will be the same. You are building the roots now. The growth may not be visible yet. But if you persist, if you remain faithful to the process, the breakthrough will come. And when it comes, people will call it luck. They will say you are an overnight success. They will not see the years of discipline, the daily habits, the sacrifices made in private. But you will know. And that knowledge will fuel your next goal, your next level, your next version of yourself. Because this is not about arriving at a destination. This is about becoming the kind of person who is always growing, always improving, always expanding. This is about living with purpose. Moving with intention. Creating with consciousness. This is about claiming your power and refusing to ever give it away again. Now we turn to the practical. The daily actions. The habits that will transform your mind and therefore your life. These are not suggestions. These are commands. If you want different results, you must follow them with exactness. With discipline. With consistency. First, morning mental discipline. The way you start your day determines how the rest of your day unfolds. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones. They flood their minds with news, messages, other people's agendas. This is self-sabotage. The first hour of your day must be protected. This is your sacred time. This is when you install the mental programming for success. Here is what you will do. Wake up at the same time every day. No negotiation. No, just 5 more minutes. Your discipline begins the moment your alarm sounds. Do not touch your phone. Do not check email. Do not engage with any external stimulus. Instead, sit quietly for at least 15 minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. And direct your mind. Think about your definite chief aim. See it clearly in your mind. Feel what it will feel like when it is accomplished. Let the emotion fill you. This is not daydreaming. This is mental rehearsal. You are programming your subconscious mind with the exact instructions for the day ahead. After this visualization, speak your affirmations aloud. Not with doubt. Not as a question. But with conviction. With authority. With certainty. Say things like, I am the master of my mind. I am in complete control of my thoughts and actions. I move toward my goals with confidence and persistence. I attract opportunities and recognize them immediately. I am worthy of great success and I claim it now. Speak these things as if they are already true. Because in the realm of thought, they are true. And your subconscious mind will work to make them true in the physical realm. Then read something inspiring. Something that elevates your thinking. Something from a person who has achieved what you want to achieve. Feed your mind high-quality input before the world has a chance to pollute it. This morning routine is non-negotiable. It is the foundation of everything else. Second, written goals and daily review. You must write your goals. Not type them. Write them by hand. There is something about the physical act of writing that imprints information more deeply into your mind. Write your definite chief aim at the top of a page. Below it, list the specific goals that support it. Make them specific. Make them measurable. Give them deadlines. Then, every morning and every night, read these goals aloud. When you read them in the morning, you prime your mind to move toward them throughout the day. When you read them at night, you send them into your subconscious mind to work on while you sleep. This daily review keeps your goals alive in your consciousness. It prevents you from drifting. It reminds you what you are working toward when distractions and doubts arise. Most people write goals once, put them in a drawer, and forget about them. Then they wonder why nothing changes. Repetition is the mother of learning. You must repeat your goals daily until they become part of your identity. Until you cannot imagine not achieving them. Until the thought of giving up feels impossible. Third, controlled input. You must guard what enters your mind. Because everything you consume affects your thinking. If you watch the news for hours every day, you will become anxious and pessimistic. If you spend time with negative people, you will absorb their negativity. If you consume mindless entertainment, your mind will become lazy. You are what you eat, not just physically but mentally. From this day forward, you will be ruthless about input. Limit news consumption. You do not need to be constantly updated on every tragedy in the world. It does not make you informed. It makes you fearful. Eliminate or drastically reduce social media. It is designed to addict you, distract you, and make you compare your real life to other people's highlight reels. Stop watching or listening to things that leave you feeling worse than before you consumed them. Instead, fill your mind with high-quality content. Read biographies of successful people. Listen to educational podcasts. Watch interviews with experts in your field. Make learning a daily habit. Commit to reading at least 30 minutes per day. In a year, that is over 180 hours of learning. In 5 years, you will have consumed more knowledge than most people consume in a lifetime. And knowledge, when applied, becomes power. Fourth, the evening inventory. Every night before bed, take 15 minutes to review your day. Ask yourself, did I live according to my values today? Did I move toward my goals? Did I act like the person I am becoming? Be honest. Where did you succeed? Where did you fall short? Do not judge yourself harshly. But do not lie to yourself either. Honest self-assessment is the only way to improve. If you made mistakes, acknowledge them. Learn from them. Decide how you will handle the situation differently next time. If you succeeded, acknowledge that too. Celebrate your wins. This reinforces positive behavior. Then, before you sleep, do another brief visualization. See tomorrow. See yourself handling challenges with grace. See yourself acting with discipline. See yourself moving closer to your goals. Your subconscious mind is most receptive right before sleep. Use this time to install positive programming. And then sleep. Real, quality sleep. Not scrolling on your phone until you pass out. But deliberate rest. Sleep is when your brain consolidates learning. When your body repairs. When your subconscious processes the day and prepares for tomorrow. You cannot achieve greatness while chronically exhausted. Protect your sleep. Fifth, physical discipline. Your mind and body are connected. You cannot have a disciplined mind in an undisciplined body. You must move your body every single day. Not because you want to look a certain way, though that may be a benefit. But because physical discipline builds mental discipline. When you push yourself physically, you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. You build the mental toughness required for every other area of life. It does not have to be extreme. A 30-minute walk. A short workout. Yoga. Anything that gets you moving and challenges you slightly beyond your current capacity. Make it non-negotiable. Make it part of your identity. I am the kind of person who takes care of my body. And fuel your body properly. Eat real food. Drink water. Avoid substances that dull your mind or drain your energy. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through life. Treat it with respect. Sixth, strategic social connection. Success is not a solo journey. You need people. But you need the right people. Identify who in your life supports your vision. Who believes in you. Who challenges you to grow. Who holds you accountable. Spend more time with these people. At the same time, identify who drains you. Who criticizes your dreams. Who keeps you stuck in old patterns. Who makes you feel small. Reduce or eliminate contact with these people. Not with cruelty. But with clarity about what you need to protect. And actively seek out mentors and peers who are ahead of you. Join communities of like-minded individuals. Attend events. Invest in coaching or courses if needed. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose those 5 carefully. Seventh, daily action toward your goal. Every single day, you must take at least one action that moves you toward your definite chief aim. It does not have to be huge. It does not have to be perfect. But it has to be something. Make a phone call. Send an email. Write a page. Practice a skill. Research an opportunity. One action per day is 365 actions per year. And 365 actions, when directed toward a single purpose, will create momentum that becomes unstoppable. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They try to do everything at once, get overwhelmed, and quit. Do not make this mistake. Focus on progress, not perfection. Focus on consistency, not intensity. Small actions, repeated daily, create massive results over time. And on the days when you do not feel like taking action, and those days will come, do it anyway. This is where discipline reveals itself. This is where you prove your commitment. Because feelings are unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. But discipline is constant. You do the work whether you feel like it or not. You show up whether it is convenient or not. You keep going whether you see immediate results or not. This is the path. This is the practice. This is the price. 8th, weekly planning. Once per week, sit down and plan the week ahead. Review your goals. Look at your calendar. Decide what must get done to move you forward. Schedule your most important tasks first. Protect time for your morning routine. Protect time for learning. Protect time for action on your goals. Do not leave your week to chance. Do not be reactive. Be intentional. And at the end of each week, review what happened. What worked? What didn't? What do you need to adjust? This weekly practice keeps you aligned. It prevents drift. It ensures that your daily actions are always connected to your larger purpose. 9th, continuous improvement. Commit to getting 1% better every day. Not in everything, but in the areas that matter most. 1% improvement compounds. In a year, you will be 37 times better than you are today. But improvement requires measurement. You must track your progress. How much did you earn? How many pages did you write? How many workouts did you complete? How many connections did you make? What gets measured gets improved. Do not trust your feelings to tell you whether you are making progress. Trust the data. Trust the numbers. Trust the evidence. And when the evidence shows you are off track, adjust immediately. Do not wait. Do not hope it will get better on its own. Take responsibility. Make the change. Get back on course. 10th, gratitude practice. Every day, identify 3 things you are grateful for. Not the same things every day. Really look for new things. Small things. Specific things. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. And this shift in focus changes your emotional state. It changes your energy. It changes what you attract. You cannot feel grateful and fearful at the same time. You cannot feel grateful and resentful at the same time. Gratitude is the antidote to negative emotion. And maintaining a positive emotional state is critical for sustained action. Do this every morning. Do this every evening. Make it a habit. And watch how your life begins to change. These 10 practices are not complicated. But they are transformational if you do them consistently. Most people will read this and do nothing. Or they will try for a few days and quit when they do not see immediate results. But you are not most people. You are someone who is willing to do what others will not. Someone who is willing to endure short-term discomfort for long-term fulfillment. You are someone who understands that the quality of your habits determines the quality of your life. So commit. Commit to these practices. Commit to this process. Commit to becoming the person who lives this way naturally. And then watch as your entire life transforms. You have come to the end of this message. But this is not the end of anything. This is the beginning. The beginning of a new way of thinking. A new way of living. A new identity. Everything you have heard in the last hour is not theory. It is not philosophy. It is not something to be admired from a distance. It is a blueprint. A map. A set of instructions for taking control of your mind and therefore your life. And now you stand at a crossroads. You can close this video and return to your old patterns. You can nod your head in agreement and then do nothing. You can treat this like entertainment and move on to the next distraction. Or you can decide. Decide right now that everything changes from this moment forward. Decide that you are done being a victim of circumstances. Decide that you are done waiting for permission, for the right moment, for someone to save you. Decide that you are the creator of your destiny. That you hold the pen that writes your story. That your future will be whatever you have the courage and discipline to build. This is not a small decision. This is the most important decision you will ever make. Because everything flows from this decision. Your relationships. Your finances. Your health. Your happiness. Your legacy. All of it hinges on whether you accept responsibility and take action. And action begins now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Right now, you are going to do something. Something small but significant. Something that marks this moment as the turning point. You are going to write down your definite chief aim. What is the one thing you want to achieve more than anything else? Write it. Be specific. Give it a deadline. Then you are going to read it aloud. Speak it into existence. Declare it to yourself and to the universe. And then you are going to take one action, just one, that moves you toward that goal. Make a phone call. Send an email. Do 5 minutes of research. Anything. But do something. Because action creates momentum. And momentum creates more action. And sustained action creates results. You cannot think your way into a new life. You must act your way into it. And every day, you will continue to act. You will follow the practices. You will guard your mind. You will move toward your vision with relentless persistence. There will be days when you doubt. Days when you are tired. Days when nothing seems to be working. On those days, you will remember this moment. You will remember the decision you made. And you will keep going. Because quitting is not an option. Giving up is not in your vocabulary. You are committed to this path not because it is easy, but because it is the only path that leads to the life you want. And understand this, the world needs you to succeed. Not just for your own sake, but for the sake of everyone whose life you will touch. Your family. Your community. The people who will be inspired by your example. When you rise, you give others permission to rise. When you break through your limitations, you show others that limitations can be broken. When you refuse to settle, you challenge others to demand more from themselves. Your success is not selfish. It is necessary. So stop playing small. Stop hiding. Stop pretending you are not capable of greatness. You are capable. You have always been capable. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the decision to claim it and the discipline to build it. And today, you have made that decision. Today, you have chosen power over victimhood. Responsibility over blame. Action over excuses. Today, you have chosen to become the person you were always meant to be. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning. The real work starts now. But you are ready. You have the knowledge. You have the principles. You have the practices. All that remains is execution. So go. Take the first step. And then the next. And then the next. Do not stop. Do not quit. Do not look back. Your destiny is waiting. But it will not come to you. You must go to it. You must earn it. One thought at a time. One action at a time. One day at a time. And when you look back a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will see that this was the moment everything changed. This was the moment you took control. This was the moment you stopped being a passenger and became the driver. This was the moment you stepped into your power and never looked back. Now go. Your new life is calling. Answer it.